Hey everyone, and welcome to Northern Lights. This is a new game. It's been out for a little bit in alpha. It didn't have a great start when it was first released. The devs were kind enough to send me a copy and a game code because it's been on a wish list for a while now, saying that they've done a major overhaul. It's ready now to be played by most players. It does still have a few kinks and a few bugs that they're working on, which is why it's still in alpha. But it's totally playable now. It's definitely got a lot of attributes from a lot of other survival games. So if you're a survival enthusiast for like the Infected, Green Hell, The Forest, this shares a lot of the traits from those games. And jump right into it in just a second. First things first, as always, when you start a new game, especially if it's still in alpha, you're going to want to go to settings. Make sure you check your graphics. So here, make sure that your graphics are set to a way that you can support them. I can usually run everything on ultra, but while recording, I turn everything down to high, medium, or low, just because once I run all the stuff in the background, it kind of needs to be lowered a bit. But when you do this, make sure you pull up your task manager and double check on your GPU. Ensure that your GPU and your CPU are not running at like 100+%, because like I said, a lot of these games are not optimized yet. They're still working on optimizing things like fires and multiple movable, placeable items. So with that, we don't need to make any adjustments here. I just want to go over that. If you want to change your controls or see what the controls are for the game, you can click on those here. You can see everything and what it's all the standard stuff that you're used to as far as shift, control, jump, all that stuff goes. We'll go over that as we need to. If you want to change those, you just click on it. And when you click on it, it's going to tell you it's going to wait for an input. We're not going to do that, so we're just going to press escape. We're going to hit cancel so it doesn't save anything. We're going to hit back, and we're going to start us a brand new game. Alright, so when you hit new game, you're going to notice the first settings on the left. You've got single player and co-op. Co-op is not currently available. It's coming soon. So I know a lot of my people that play the Infected. Y'all have been looking for a survival game besides Green Hell and The Forest that offers multiplayer function. They are working on it, and they'll have it here. And this game, in my opinion, will be a lot better just because you're playing in a desolate wasteland pretty much of nothing but snow and ice. There's like really not a lot going on except animals and searching for the next building or city or town to come to. But currently right now we have single player, so we're just going to go with that. You can change your difficulty settings here. I would not pick anything above the standard, which is resourceful. I would not go below that because that's going to be too easy. So we're just going to go with the standard one. We're going to leave the tutorial on just to save me some time on making graphics. And because there's plenty of other stuff to go over that the tutorial does not cover, or it doesn't cover it enough in depth. So once you have the difficulty level you want and tutorial on or off, go ahead and hit start. Alright, so we're loading into the game now. We're going into Siberia. We are currently inside of Northern Lights right now, so if we look around, you're going to see, like I said, it is a wasteland of snow and ice. So you know what that means. For all survival games, when there's snow and winter involved, you need to be worried about making fire. First things first, to move around, it's just your standard WASD. If you want to sprint, you hold down shift. If you want to jump, you press space. If you want to pick up things like sticks, you're going to press E. It's going to go over that here in this tutorial. It says everything you pick up goes straight into your inventory. To open your inventory, press tab. To interact with items, press right mouse button. So then we're going to hit space. We're going to pick that stick up. It goes into our inventory. We now have a new quest available. And a new blueprint available is the stick holder. And that's all the stuff that just popped up on the screen. There's going to be things in here called flora. So if we look at these flowers here, they're gatherable. And it says flora. You can find a variety of herbs in the Arctic flora, from plants and mushrooms to tasty berries. Be careful, some of these herbs may help you cure diseases, but others can be straight poisonous. So far, I'm still working on figuring out a good guide on the flowers, because there's a ton of them. There's mushrooms and plants and all kinds of stuff. The next thing that we can make a note of, if you press C as in Charlie, you can get your compass open. So right here it says, in order to navigate through the Arctic wasteland, you will have to make use of your map and compass. The map can be accessed by pressing M. When you press your first start game, your map is incomplete. In order to reveal more regions, you need to find the missing map pieces, which are scattered across the world. To use the compass, press and hold C. Right, map, as I just said, is M as in Mike. So you can see wherever you start at, you go ahead and get that piece. If you use the mouse wheel, you can zoom out and in. You can place markers on the map, or push pins. You can have 3 at a time. Right mouse button will add those. And then right mouse button on them to remove them. If you look in the lower left, we have a legend for a location, caves, fishing huts, undiscovered. And we'll get into more in depth on that as we come across items. But every time you spawn in the game, it will put you into a different area. This is my third time starting. The first 2 times I've been right here in the general area that we're currently in, so I feel like maybe it's just regional. And then when we run around, you're going to want to pick up sticks. They're going to be very important. You're going to head to the tree line and get into the woods because there are going to be several items that we need to gather there. Another thing to press that's important is T as in Tango. That's going to pull up your watch. It's almost the same thing as if you were playing Green Hell. The first thing there is just time. So if you press your left mouse button, you can then move to temperature. The top one is the temperature of the area around you. The bottom one is wind chill, so it's currently 17.7 degrees Celsius, or negative. The next menu is going to be from top to bottom. The first one is a stomach icon, that is your hunger. The next one is going to be thirst, and the one below that is what leads to hypothermia. It's pretty much, are you freezing or not? So if it gets too low, you need to make a fire or be next to a fire to heat it back up. If we hit tab, we can go into our inventory. It's the same as most games, so we have our slots 1, 2, 3, and 4, and that's related to your number keys for correlation. At the top left, you can see that you have your weight. The first backpack menu obviously is going to be your tools and weapons. The next one is going to be things that you can eat, followed by the next menu, which is going to be medicine, which is right here on the lower part of the backpack. After that, we're going to get into all the items you've picked up and collected, and then finally you've got 4 slots here for sticks and planks. And lucky as I am, we're currently in a blizzard, so that means we're going to be taking a lot of frost damage. If we probably watch out, you can see the temperature has changed. Alright, so like I said, you've got mushrooms and stuff here. We're not going to worry about those right now. We're just going to go straight into the woodline. As we're in the woodline, we're going to grab sticks. We're going to come up to these trees. There's mushrooms on those that you can gather, but the thing, well, let's go ahead and jump us into another tutorial. If we have a hatchet, we can chop down the tree. Once it's cut down, it will yield wood logs and sticks. If you keep cutting the logs, you'll get firewood. Tip, wood logs are best used in creating a bonfire, while firewood is best used in crafting a small fire or a campfire. Alright, so the things we're looking for in these trees right now is going to be these birds' nests. We're going to take the raw egg by pressing E as an echo. Then we're going to take the bird nest the same way. And we're also going to look and see if the tree has any vines on it. The vines that grow on the trees, those are ropes. And that's going to be used to up our next crafting level. So we're going to grab a couple of these. You don't need a ton of those bird nests. You don't need a ton of eggs. If we want to, you see these dead wood sapling trees. We can press E on those to gather them. And you just press it once, you don't have to hold it. And that's going to give us a bunch of sticks. You can hold 6 sticks per stack for a maximum of 4 stacks in your bag. Then we're going to grab some of these rocks. We're going to grab 4 of these for right now, or stones. There's pine cones here too. We can take those if we want to, just to get into the journal. Let's grab us another one of these, because like I said, you always need to be able to make fire. Alright, so then we have a bird right here. We need a hatchet for that, so what we can do now is hit tab. At the top middle here, you've got your backpack, you've got your map, and you have your crafting book or notebook. So here, if going from the top left down, right here is going to be your quest, so we can say track the quest if we want to. I've only seen 1 quest so far while I've been in here. The next one down is going to be 4 for plants and things that we found. Below that is going to be afflictions. That'll populate as you get different issues, hypothermia, concussions. Like I said, this game has a lot in common with Green Hell. It has about, I don't know, like a million different ways to kill you. Below that is going to be your skills. You can level up as you do things. So you've got archery, butchering, cooking, fishing, fire starting, and crafting. Now if you get a concussion, all this stuff is going to be reduced to level 1. Alright, next is notes. I have not found any notes in the game yet. If we go to the right side, we've got our crafting menu here, so we can make different items. At the bottom corner on the right side here, we've got an arrow to scroll through, and that's to see the different crafts. As we level up crafting, we'll get more recipes. Same thing with fire making. Then we have traps. We have structures. Stick beds, the only one I've used so far, because if you want to save in this game, you need to sleep. Below that, we've got our storages. So we've got the rock holder, the stick holder, drying racks, storage boxes, and then unknown blueprints. And we'll get into building stuff in just a minute. Alright, so first things first, we do need to build a hatchet. So we'll come up to here. Stone hatchet's the first hatchet we can make. We can find some later. As you can see, our body temperature is now dropping, so we need to build a fire pretty quickly. So after wandering through the colds of Siberia, your body temp has dropped drastically. Stand next to a heat source to get warm, or else you risk developing a frostbite. Your stats can be tracked by pressing Tango and interacting with your watch. Alright, so here it says we're missing things, so we need some rope, 1 stick, 2 stones. Once we have all the items on us, it'll allow us to craft that. Alright, so we've got the stones, we should just be missing rope. Alright, so we're going to look for these vines like this right here. Just walk up to it, press E to take it. Then we can press tab, go back to our menu, click on the top right again, and then click craft on our stone hatchet. Since it's the only one we've got on us, it'll equip to the 1 slot. Then if we want to, we can go back to our bird, press E, and we'll harvest the bird. It's going to give us feathers and meat. And watch the lower right and you'll see. So we got butchering +1, 3 feathers, and some raw bird meat. Alright, so we can grab us some more sticks really quick. If we want to, we can walk up to one of these trees. We'll grab that piece of rope. We'll hit E to salvage it. Press Q to drop it. Look at it. We're going to right click one time. You don't have to hold it, just right click. And then harvest. That's going to give us firewood. If we harvest the firewood, that's going to give us sticks. Then we're going to go back into our menu because we're about to start freezing. We're going to hit craft on this. Press left mouse button to lay it down. Look at it and then press E to build it. It'll place the sticks you have on you currently. We don't have enough, so we're going to press I. Come in here to the rope and hammer icon. Right click on your firewood. Hit harvest. And we just added firewood to it so we can start a fire. To successfully start a fire, craft yourself a fire starter item and find some tinder. For this purpose, dry items work best. Don't forget to constantly add fuel because the fire will burn out. Alright, so we don't have matches or a lighter yet, so we need to find tree bark. So look around here in the wooded area until we find some tree bark. We can go ahead and grab this bird. Probably should have got the bark before I built the fire, because you cannot see where you placed your items. So it's going to be rough to find that one spot. So let's see. Tree bark. It should just be laying on the ground somewhere if we have right here. So this is tree bark. We're going to grab that. Head back over here where our fire should be at. Alright, so we're going to press E here. We can then go to our book. Come into our craftable items. Scroll over. And then we have the hand drill. So it takes 1 stick, 1 spruce bark. So go ahead and craft that. E to use our fire. So we need to add tinder to it. So we can just take one of these bird nests and drop that on there. If you don't have bird nest but you have extra bark, you can right click on the bark, harvest it, and that will give you fire, or that'll give you tinder to start the fire with. Then we drop this here on the fire starting icon. And now we have fire. So if we go to our watch and we left mouse button, you'll see that we're now at 41 degrees Celsius. If we click over here, you'll see that our little snowman icon, you see those points start to climb. Alright, another thing to note with this, if you look to the left and the right, you'll see these little bluish green icons. Just press E while aiming at one of those. We can drop our bird raw meat on there and start cooking that. If you press E while looking at the fire, it's going to show you the fuel source, and you'll see this green is how much fuel is left on it. If you need to, you can click up here and you can drop the plank, you can drop the sticks on it, or if you have firewood here, you can drop firewood on it and it'll replenish that green circle. Be careful while cooking your food, because if it sits here for too long, it will burn. Alright, so it's done now. We have bird meat cooked. We'll just drag that and drop it. If you don't want to drag and drop, you can double click it and it'll move it straight to your inventory. We can then right click on it and consume. You'll see here 5 sanity, 52 hunger, and 10 energy. And then let's check on our levels now. So we're good on food. Water is not terrible, and we're not freezing anymore. So what we need to do now is we need to find a landmark, a building of some sort. We're here, so from here there should be something nearby. So we're going to start walking until we see something. You can pull your binoculars out by holding down V as in Victor. And you have to hold this button or it goes away. Just like that. And if you see something, you'll get a notification saying new landmark discovered. A question mark will pop up. And you just mouse around. You can try to use your compass to navigate. Always keep firewood because you might have to rebuild a fire. I really wish the blizzard didn't hit us immediately upon coming in. Like I said, this game is survival intent. So if I can remember, see right here we have a question mark now. That means there's a new location possibly in that area. So if we head towards that, we should find a building. It's going to have food and other supplies in it for us. At the same time, while you're running around, you want to look out for wolves and bears and other hostile animals because they will kill you. You do not want to fight certain animals either that aren't non-aggressive, like a moose. You're going to want to kill those with ranged weapons because if they hit you, you can get a concussion and it'll cause a lot of other issues. So we should be seeing a building somewhere nearby. We're pretty close now. A lot of hills, lots of mountains, lots of rivers. Do not walk in the water. Here we go. So here's the POI right here, point of interest. So let's go into here. Hold down shift right now to run. We can stop and pick up planks. On the outskirts, you can sometimes find loot. So make sure you keep an eye open. You can find things like bullets, food, and other materials. But at this location, almost everything is going to be located inside. So if we look over here, we've got some, what is that, gloves. So we can hold down control to squat, and then we'll see clothing. Keeping yourself warm is a crucial aspect of survival in the Arctic conditions. Although you start with clothes on, you can find and equip new clothes which may provide better stats than your current ones. Remember, you can now carry clothes on yourself, but not in your backpack. Equipping a new clothing item will swap out the old one. So if we hover over this, we can see that it is less than our current ones. So we're going to just leave it where it's at. And then we're going to come into here. And inside of here, we can start finding items. So like right here, we've got some firewood, Mad Bull, can of pork rice, which is food. We've got some painkillers. And like I said, it's going to be scattered everywhere. But when you find these points of interest, the thing you want to mainly look for is the piece of map and books. So not all books can be read. Like this one is just a standard book, so you can right click on it and harvest it. It's just going to give you paper debris. But other books will want you to read them. But when you read, it's like sleeping. All right, so we're not going to collect everything. We're going to get some bandages. We'll grab some food. Blackberry juice is good for thirst. We're going to leave that alone for now. We're going to leave that painkiller right where it's at. If we look at here, we can salvage furniture. That'll give us planks to feed the fire. Let's take some more of the food, some of the firewood, because we can harvest that to make sticks. We don't need instant noodles right now. We can take the canned pork. Let's check out these boots. So it gives us better cold resistance and defense, but reduces our run speed. So we're going to leave those alone for now. We've got another bandage here. We're going to leave that alone. We've got an energy bar. We got some more juice. Try to squeeze through there if you can't, then just jump on top of stuff, move around. Be careful, you can't take fall damage. It's pasta, it's a regular book. So this room is pretty much clear. There's some more stuff laying around. And make sure you look, it's hard to see stuff, so you could find like a new hatchet. So if you get like the metal hatchet, it works a lot better than our current one. Also make sure, like I said, keep it on your weight because it doesn't take a lot to weigh yourself down. And then we'll head to the next floor. Alright, so we can come into here, looking at the ground again, there's going to be more loot. You can find some more clothes that may or may not be better. It depends on what stats you're after. We're going to keep what we have for now. Now, if you come into things like this, look at anything that looks like a chest, a crate, a backpack, or like any type of luggage, chest, or not chest, but dresser, or desks. Let me find the right word. And that's going to have stuff in it and stuff on it, like this bandage. You can press E to use the storage. And it's got a chocolate bar in there. So if there's already something in there, you can't actually store something in there with it. It's just whatever type of item is in there. So if we have more chocolate bars, we could stack those in there. So we can double click that, take it. And then if we wanted to store, like, say, our stone in there, we can take that, drag it, drop it. And now we have stone inside of there. All right, so we're going to look at these. We've got instant noodles in that one. Rifle bullet, we're going to take that because I'd really like to find a gun. We've got another standard book here. If it doesn't say read on it, it's just a basic book. And we'll just leave everything here. So far, I've noticed that when I reload a game, all the items repopulate. So if you see something you need, just come back and you can get it more than once. So we've got more soda there. We've got some vodka in here. I don't think I've ever seen vodka before. Do we have room for that? All right, so let's check our food stats really quick. And we could drink something, I guess. So let's go into here. And let's drink our soda. So when it comes to eating and drinking items, you don't know what the effects are until you actually drink or consume it. Some books will teach you some stuff as you explore the map. But for the most part, it's all trial by error. All right, so let's see if we can hold that vodka now. If you can't hold something, it'll fall on the ground below you. All right, so we got pasta there. Get a stick knife there. I don't care for the stick knives. I feel like that's kind of a useless item. You don't want to fight anything with a stick knife, as I found out the hard way. That's how I got my concussion. All right, so we're doing pretty good. We've got some pants right here. Let's check those out. More armor. Stained frost defense. And it reduces our run speed. I think we're going to go ahead and equip that, though. Okay, so we can get a lighter. That's a good source for starting fires. So then we won't need to carry around our hand drill. And it's reusable. There's also matches. The only thing with matches, they're one-time use only. Got another bullet on this shelf. Got a bathroom down here. We can check it out. We've got a scarf right here. It is not as good as what we currently have. I want to say that the top part of that is durability. If we find ladders, you can climb those by pressing E. Give it a second to load while you latch onto it and then start climbing. It'll load off of it once you get to the top. Then you can move again. We can look around up here to see if there's any items to collect. I've only found one thing, which is over here. And so more firewood. So if we press M as in map, we should see wood factory now. So from here, what I like to do is I like to try to find a road and then follow the road to the next main location. And this map is huge, so it takes a long time to go from A to B. So we can climb down. And important things to note, so if you see right now at the lower left, there's a brain. The brain icon, when it turns red, means you're going to go insane. You're going to start hearing voices. If it gets worse than that, you're going to start getting attacked by hallucinations. If you press and hold Q, it's going to tell you what's wrong with you. We're currently at risk of getting cabin fever. And what that means is you've been inside for so long that your guy's restless and wants to go back out to explore. Now, while it's yellow, that means that the status is building up. If it's white, that means it's going to take time for it to go away. And to get rid of that, you're going to need to sleep or eat or consume meds of different types. Below that, you have a heart icon. That's your health bar for when you're fighting and attacking stuff like wolves and bears, or if you take too much damage from jumping off a cliff. Below that, the white bar under the health bar, that is your max stamina. The orange bar is your current available stamina. So you see we're running right now, so it's eating up stamina. If you swing your axe, you're using up stamina. Everything you do uses up stamina. The only way to regain stamina or energy is to eat items and sleep. So if we run back out here on most of these POIs, if you follow out the front door, you'll see a road. If not, just keep running straight and you'll eventually find one. There are signs labeling what it is. So we're at the wood mill. Normally, if you run down farther, you'll find another sign that's got 3 or 4 different pieces to it that'll direct you to where the next POI is at. So we got the wood mill that way. If we go up that way, we'll go to the farmstead. And then if we go this way, we'll go to I've actually never been there, but I'm assuming it's some kind of wood cutting lodge. And then here we can get a piece of charcoal off of this. So let's go ahead and take that. New blueprint. We just got the blueprint for a campfire. So if we go into our crafting menu, we can actually now build the campfire, which takes 12 sticks and 12 stones. So from here, I think what we're going to do is we're going to head over to the farmstead. So all I'm going to do is follow this road, and I'll see you when I get there. All right, guys. So while running, we get another notification because our energy is getting low. So energy bar, the thing we just went over, as you can see, is right here. It's represented by this, what I would call an eye with a swirl in it icon. So through the day, you will gradually lose energy. The less energy you have, the less stamina you can use in actions. To restore energy fully, you need to sleep. You can find the energy bar in the lower left of your screen, just above the health bar. Think of energy as the amount of time you can spend exploring before going back to sleep. Strategic energy management is the key. And it is. So what you want to do is make sure to manage your energy. Like before you leave whatever location you're at or camp you're at, make sure your energy bars are good. Sorry, we're just grabbing some sticks really quick. Like I said, make sure you keep enough on you for fires. But yeah, you want to watch your energy bars, keep those up. And we're full on sticks, so we're good now. Look for these little stumps. Sometimes they'll have sap on them. We're going to want the sap to make bandages with. And then from there, we're going to continue our journey to the farmstead. So actually, really quick, here we go. So this is what I was just talking about. All right, so this is pine sap. We're going to take that. It can be used for making bandages. So we just learned a new blueprint, sap dressing. And the recipe for that is 1 pine sap and 1 bandage. The bandage can be made from cloth. And we're just going to gather rope and other materials on our way to the farmstead while watching our weight to make sure we don't go overweight. And ensure that you avoid all water sources. If you're going to cross a river, make sure you don't walk through it. Walk across a bridge. All right, so while running, we're finally getting another part of the tutorial called surveying, which is going to go over the binoculars. So there's a location nearby. The best way of finding locations is by using your binoculars to survey your surrounding area. Upon surveying a location, its name and icon will appear on your map. To use binoculars, press and hold V as in Victor. Once a location is in your sight, your vision will lock to it and automatically appear on your map. So as you can see there, we're coming up to the farmstead. Okay, so we're at the farmstead now. As you can see, that's the main building there. We've got a barn here. We've got tractors and trees. We can run around and look around and see if there's some other items, but we're low on energy. We're probably getting a little bit cold too because we haven't been by a fire in a while. But we're still doing all right. So we get some food here if we wanted to. We're going to leave that for now because our inventory is pretty full. We have the barn here, but if we press E to use the door, it says it's locked. We need to find a key. If we come over here, there's a porch. It's got some furniture and stuff on it that we can interact with. So like pork and beans, furniture, some more food, condensed milk. And then we've got black beans. First thing we want to do is we want to build a fire though, get warmed up. And we're probably going to call it quits on the video right about here. And then we'll get started on exploring the farmstead. But in order to save, like I said, you need to be in a bed. So we're going to head upstairs and go to one of these bedrooms. There's beds here. You can interact with that. So here we go with the tutorial again. Sleeping. Sleeping is the best way to restore your energy and the only way to save. While sleeping, the rest of your stats will decrease over time. Pay attention to how much sleep you make and ensure you have the necessary resources to do so. So what that's saying is we need to make sure that we have enough food, water, and cold availability in order to sleep. So what I like to do is I like to build fires next to the bed and then sleep. That way we don't freeze to death while we're sleeping. So we can press tab to open our inventory, click on our craft book, go to our fire. We're just going to build the standard smart fire for right now. So actually I guess we can't build one upstairs. Well, on the one-story buildings that I've explored on my other save, you can actually build the campfire there. So we'll just set it down here. Let's set it like below the bedroom and see if that won't heat us up. So left mouse button to place it. E to add your sticks to it. E to go into the menu for it. Make sure you add some tinder to it. So we're just going to drop a bird's nest on it. We'll drop this on there. We just got +1 to fire starting. We can warm up. If we had any more food on us that needed cooking, we go ahead and do that. While you're in your inventory, you can't access your watch, so do that beforehand. So we're kind of good on food and water. As you can see, this place is full of items. Like I said, we'll go over exploring this once we do a save, and that's going to be episode 2. And then from then on, each different episode, we're going to go over the different zones as we come across them. All right, so let's make sure our temperature is good. Looking pretty decent. We just need one more tick on there, and we're good. So let's go upstairs and save, and then I'll see you guys on episode 2. Alright, so we see the bed here. You can harvest the pillows, and we'll just press E to sleep. You'll see time is changing. Our hunger and thirst are decreasing. Our heat's maintaining the same, so the fire downstairs is good enough to heat us up. You'll see that top bar, that's our energy, it's going up. If your other stats fall too low, you'll start losing health, which is the heart icon. Press spacebar to wake up. You'll see that the game has been saved, and we are good to go. We just need to get our stats back up and start working on everything else. So guys, that should get you started and initial survival to get to the first place. Like I said, fire is very important. Always keep things on you. And actually, let's try to find us one more piece of bark so I can show you exactly what I mean by harvesting that. So since we used our sticks, like I said, you right click on the firewood and harvest that. It'll give us 2 sticks per piece of firewood. And then let's come into here and find another piece of that bark. All right, so it took a little bit of running, but here's a piece of bark right here. It's called spruce bark. We're going to take that. It can be used for other crafting recipes. So let's go to the things that's important to keep you alive when you first start off. So if you right click on that, you can then go to harvest. It's going to give you inner spruce bark, which you can use for tinder. Personally, I like using the bird's nest. That way I can save the bark to make things like the water biting so I can get more water. So when you go to click on those nests, make sure you pick those and the vines up before you harvest the tree. If you harvest the tree while anything's attached to it, you lose all the items that are attached to it. But like I said, guys, that's going to be the end of episode 1. You should be able to survive to get to at least your first location, if not your second. And then we'll go over exploring this location and then head to the next one. So I'll see you guys on the next episode.